Hello there, and welcome to Full Stack Devlogs. Today, we are here to start our journey of learning machine learning and AI. But these are very big jargons, heavy words, and most of the times these are overwhelming. Like we hear it and we see, okay, machine learning. I think I need to know more mathematics, statistics. I think I need to know a lot of complex algorithms and a hell lot of programming. To a sense, it might be true, but these should not be the hurdles. Let me promise you that. In this video, I will prove you that how we can easily start the journey, and I will also make you believe that me here talking to you right now, I am also a beginner in this field. So let's begin. So before we begin this, I would like to announce some prerequisites. First prerequisite, that I am assuming that you are not a fresher in programming. You have good understanding of programming, like you are a programmer. You can be a programmer in Java, in C, C++, Python, PHP, JavaScript, whatever. But you are a programmer. You know how to program. You have coded a lot of applications. Basically, you just know programming. You just know how to program. Doesn't matter you are 3 years experience, 5 years or 8 years or 15 years. Doesn't matter. You know programming. That is what matters. This is the first prerequisite. You are not a student and you don't like go into much of theory, and you want to learn by doing. So you want to learn something by doing the same thing, and you want to learn while working on it. I will call it a top-down approach. Like you take a programming language or you take a particular methodology, start working on it, and when you are stuck somewhere, learn that particular thing, keep going ahead. Keep removing those barriers in your journey by learning about it in short span of time. Okay, this is the only prerequisite and the assumption before we start it. Just one last thing before we begin. All the examples and all the code that we will see here will be written in Python, because TensorFlow by default is in Python. It supports Python, it runs on Python, and we need to know Python. And if you don't know Python, that's not a challenge. Let me tell you, if you are any programming language programmer, C, C++, Java, blah, 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 Python is the most easiest. Those who know will understand what I'm saying. So I just recommend Free Code Camp. If you are a total beginner, sign in here. I will sign in, for example, using my GitHub. Let me, yeah. So I'm done. And now you can see here the Python certifications. So you take this scientific computing with Python course and you see the Python for everybody. I would just recommend start doing it from here, and you will love it. That's all for Python thing. Now let's see the tutorials. So here you will see the beginner's quick start. And let me also tell you or introduce you to the second thing, that here you will be seeing like you will see this button run in Google Colab. So when you click on here, it will open colab.research.google Colab for you. And here you can just then it will start connecting with the online hosted Jupyter system for you. So this is a Jupyter notebook, you see. So all the code is written here, you see. This is the code written here. You can change the code as much as you like, and you can change the algorithms. You can do your own coding here basically. And this is a notebook, and this runs Python. Yeah. So for giving you the feeling of a machine learning program, let me start with the ML basics with Keras. So we will take the first example of basic image classification. We will go ahead and run this in Google Colab. Now there are some things that you will need to know Like first thing that we need to, like first of all, what are we going to do? We are going to train a neural network model, like, and we will be classifying clothing. Like here you see there are shirts, sneakers, here are handbags, and here are tunics, frocks, jeans, boots. You see boots also here, different type of shoes. And we want to develop a program which can predict by seeing an image that what it is. I will give you an image of a shirt, the program should say shirt. I should give you the image of a boot or a shoe, the program should tell me that it's a shoe, right? So how we will do that? So for beginning, first of all, we will start with Keras. So we will use Keras heavily. So Keras is what? Like if you are a Python developer, a Java developer, you will know that we use different kind of libraries that we import in our program. Like for example, in Python, we use math. So we use import math and then we write different mathematical functions that we have in Python, right? So in the similar way, we use Keras here. So we will see how. So we will import TensorFlow in our project. Then we use NumPy. Then we use matplotlib.pyplot. Correct. And now here we are printing the version. So now how to run this code? So you see that we are now connected. On the top menu header, you will see runtime here. Here you will see run all. So just click on run all and we are running everything now here, and you see the version is 241 and you will see that it is running the later stages of the code. But we won't go there, we won't directly jump into the code, and we will go one by one. So this is the start of the program, very basic. So in Jupyter Notebook, what we see the beauty is that we are combining the code along with the documentation. So here is the documentation, then we have the code, and then again the documentation, and then the code. So it's a very beautiful way of learning without having to install anything on my local. Now what we are doing is we will import a data set. So for training your algorithm, for training your program, like you know that you need a data set. Like for example, there is a child, there is your son, there is a daughter, your kid at home, your small brother or whatever, like, and you know that when that child grew up, how he or she grew up. You made him teach that this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D, A for apple, B for ball. You train that kid every day. So in the similar way, we have to make our program also learn. The program is the kid we are talking about. He knows nothing, he or she knows nothing. And this program needs to learn. And for learning, we need to give some training to it. And for training, we need some data. We need some data to train the program. And here it is a very classified program. We know that our program should perform the task of classifying an image by seeing it. Okay, so let's go ahead. So in this is a very popular data set which we will use, Fashion MNIST, which contains 70,000 grayscale images. You see these images are grayscale, and the images are in 10 categories, and all the images are of clothing, articles of clothing at low resolution of 28 by 28 pixel. So each object is of 28 by 28 pixel in this data set, and there are total 70,000 such articles. So let's go ahead and let's see the next line of code. So as we saw that there are total 70,000 articles, out of which 60,000 articles will be used for training the network, training the program, and 10,000 images will be used to test or evaluate that how well my program has learned. So it's like I will use 60,000 images to train or to make my program learn that what is a shirt and what is a pant and what is a shoe. And then by passing 10,000 images, we will test our program that now is it able to recognize that okay, this image is of a shirt, this image is of a shoe, and so on. So what we'll do is we can access the MNIST data directly from TensorFlow. we will import and load the data directly from TensorFlow. So this is a data set which is maintained in the library called Keras. For the time being, we will just make ourselves understand that Keras is a library we will be using for different kind of requirements, like we are importing the fashion dataset. So tf.keras.datasets.fashionmnict. This code that you're seeing from top to bottom, this is all Python. So all Python lovers will know what it is. And if you are not a Python experienced person, you have never seen Python, not a problem. You can just start learning Python. It will not take much time. And just by, as I said, like freecodecamp.org, and there are many other sources of learning Python. So yeah, so here we have imported the dataset, and then we like use the function load data. So when we use this function load data, we see that we have 4 arrays. These are called the NumPy arrays. We will also understand what is a NumPy array in later stages. So these are the NumPy arrays. So there are 4 arrays: train images and train labels. These 2 arrays will be the training sets, which will be used to make the data model learn. And these 2 arrays are the test arrays, test images and the test labels. These will be used to evaluate that how well my model has learned and how well can it recognize an object given to it. So the arrays that we are talking about consist of labels. So you see the labels are labeled like this from 0 to 9. 0 is t-shirt or top, 1 is trouser, 2 is pullover, 3 is dress, and so on to 9 is ankle boot. And also remember that we will use this, we will create an array called class names, and we will actually store all the class names here, because class names won't be present in the data set and we will need to use it later. Okay, so this is here. Next, now we need to explore the data. Like we have 60,000 images, which is a training set, which every image is a 28:28 pixel sized article image. It's a shirt or a pant or whatever. And we will see that how our data looks inside. So when we like run this train images dot shape, we see that there are 60,000 labels of 28:28 pixels each. And how many labels we have? So these are the images that we have. We have 60,000 images, and for each image we have, like we can run it, we have 60,000 labels, right? And each label is an integer between. So when we print train underscore labels, we see this array that every label is an integer between 0 to 9. But here you see there are no class names. That's why we have like stored the class names in a variable called class names array. And so that we will be using this array in the later stages to map our label number with the class name. And in the test set, we have 10,000 images, and we are using test images.shape, and the length of all the labels is 10,000. So we know that there are 10,000 labels. Now we need to pre-process data. Like what is pre-processing? So we need to feed this data to the neural network, neural layers. We will understand what are neural layers in this example. So for feeding a data to a neural layer, our training data and our test data should be pre-processed on the same grounds, on the same scale of measurements. Now let's go ahead. So we will do this, we will figure out this plot.figure, plot.image show, train images of 0, and we will take the 0th image. So if we see here, like in the data set, so okay, so in the data set, the 0th image is of this ankle boot, as we see here, and we will see that the pixel values fall in the range of 0 to 255. So what we will do is, before feeding this data to the neural network model, we will divide the values by 255. So we will divide the train images also with 255 and the test images also with 255, so that these values scale on the range of 0 to 1. We will understand why we are doing this. We will understand these all things chunk by chunk in separate videos. So wait for the next videos. Just be with me in this, and we will see what a machine learning program is doing, how it will learn, and then how it will predict by seeing an image that what it is. So now to verify the data is in correct format, you are ready to build and train the network. So let's display so just for testing purpose, we will see the first 25 images and we'll see that is this okay or not. So what we'll do in the range of 25. So this is a for loop. This is the way we write a for loop in Python. For I in range of 25. So from 0 to 25 it will go. It will go from 0 to 24 actually. And this is the way it will plot it. And also we will you remember we stored all the class names in an array called class names. So here we will use the train labels of I, pass this index here, and take the class name along with it. So what we will do is when we will plot these 25 images, first there will be the image, and on below of the image we will display the class name. So this is ankle boot, this t-shirt top, right? So the first image we see is have ankle boot. So that's why when we read the train images of 0 here, we got this ankle boot image here, right? Now now we will build the model. So when we will build the model, there are basically two steps in which we build the model. So first we set up the layers and then we compile the model. So set up the layers means in neural network there are layers. The basic building block of a neural network is a layer, and layer extracts representations from data fed into them. We will understand each thing one by one, as I said. Here what we will do is most of deep learning consists of chaining together simple layers. So see this code here, that tf.keras sequential, layers flatten, then dense. So here we will try to understand it quickly. So flatten will transform the format of images from a two-dimensional array to a one-dimensional array. So as we know that we have a two-dimensional array of 28 by 28 pixels. So now we will have a one-dimensional array after executing this line of code, and now it will be 28 and 28. That means 784 pixels. So if we are even a JavaScript developer or a Python developer, we know what flattening an array means, right? So if there is an array of arrays, so now when we do flattening, all the things will come inside a single array in a single line, right? So after the pixels are flattened, we will use a sequence of two layers. So two dense layers. First dense layer has 128 nodes, as we see, and the second logits array with length of 10. Logits is an unit. We will see what is logits, okay, in the later stages. Then next step is compiling the model. So we will while compiling, we have to take care of three things: the loss function, the optimizer, and the metrics. So here we are using the loss function as sparse categorical cross entropy, and optimizer is Adam, and metrics we are using accuracy. Just remember, these are overwhelming words. Don't focus and don't get afraid by these things. Everything will come in picture one by one, and we will know that how should we choose a loss function, an optimizer function, and how should we choose the metrics. Okay, so now our model is ready. We have built the model by setting up the layers and then by compiling it. Now the next step is training the model. So when we train the model, we say model.fit. So we have compiled the model, we have the model in this object model. Now we will call the function model.fit, in which we will pass the train images, the training labels, and epochs 10. What is epochs? So epochs is basically number of iterations or number of passes we will make. So like we see that we have chosen 10 passes. So what we will do is we have the train images and train labels of 60,000 images. In each pass, there is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth. You see, like if I start running it again, so it will make those 10 passes, 10 iterations again, and it will pass these images again and again to the model to make it learning. And every time we run an epoch, we will also print the loss and the accuracy number. And by the 10th epoch, you will see that accuracy is increasing, loss is decreasing. You see, accuracy has increased and loss has decreased. So now this model has reached an accuracy of about 91% on the training data. Now we will go ahead. Next, compare, like we will evaluate the accuracy. We want to check that our model has trained, now how accurate it is. So we will just use model.evaluate, again pass the test images, test labels. So remember, while training we use the train images and train labels, while testing we are using the 10,000 test images and their 10,000 labels. Okay, and we see the accuracy around somewhat around 87%. It turns out the accuracy is little less than the accuracy on the training dataset. Yes, obviously that will be because we are training using 60,000 images and testing using 10,000 images. We need more data set to make our model more accurate, right? We need more and more test data, more and more training data, more and more training data to make our model learn more and more permutations and combinations and possibilities of an image, right? When we see that the accuracy of the test data set is less than the accuracy on the training data set, we call this gap as overfitting. So we will see what is overfitting and in the next steps. For now, right, you can read on this. Overfitting happens when a machine learning model performs worse on new previously seen inputs than it does on the training data. So on the training data it did well, but on the testing data, when it started seeing new images, it's not doing that well. So this is called overfitting. We will understand that more clearly later. Now, after evaluating our model, it's time to make the predictions. Now it's time to test. So we will use tf.keras. We will use the sequential model, and we are passing our model here, and we are passing a function called softmax. So like, why are we attaching a softmax layer? To convert the logits to probabilities, which are easier to interpret. So here we have the probability model, and now using the probability model, we are calling the function predict. So probability model.predict, and here we are passing the test images. Do you remember all the 10,000 test images? And now we have the predictions. So prediction is again an array, and we will call predictions of 0, and we see this is the result from calling predictions of 0. These are the predictions. Predictions is an array of 10 numbers, and they will represent the model's confidence. So like, you can see which label has the highest confidence value. So we are using this numpy dot argmax is a function where we are passing the predictions of 0, the 0th array, which is this array. So the model is most confident that his image is an ankle boot. Why we are saying this image is an ankle boot? Ankle boot because it is giving me the output as 9. What is 9? Let's go back. Let's go back to our data, and we see that 9 was ankle boot. After making the predictions, now let's verify the prediction. So now is the time for final testing. So we have the model trained, and we can make predictions about some images. So what we will do is, let's look at the 0th image. The first image, you remember in the data set, the first image is of the ankle boot. So we pass that first image here, the 0th image, I is equal to 0. So we are passing this plot image 0, and then predictions of 0, and then test labels and test images, the 10,000 test images, and we will see that it's an ankle boot, right? And if it's not an ankle boot, in the 12th case, it is not a. It is saying it's a sandal or a sneaker, but it's not. So that's why a red line when the prediction is wrong, and blue line when the prediction is correct. So 7 is showing blue. So let me see the data at 7. So 7 is a sneaker, you see. So these are not basically something hard coded. This is run by the, like, if I run this again, you will see it again. Like, let me run it, and let me run this code. So this is running on Colab, Google Colab. Okay, you can run any example you can take and run on this Jupyter notebook here. And now we are plotting several images with their predictions, and we see that almost all of them are right. Just this sandal prediction is going wrong. Maybe we need to feed the model with more and more number of sandal images, okay, to make it learn that how a sandal or a sneaker may look. So for this image, it is saying it is sandal, but it's not, right? This is sandal and it's correct, right? See, this is a coat, correct prediction. Shirt, correct prediction. So this is how it's predicting. Our model has trained a lot. It's making less mistakes. Now it's time to use the trained model, and we will use to make a prediction about a single image. So what we will do, we will take the first image in the first index. So test images of 1. We will print the shape and we will try to predict it. And if we see what it's returning prediction single of 0 and numpy.argmax, it is giving me 2. So 2 is what? It's saying 2 is pullover, which is correct prediction, because on the number second index we are having pullover here, right? So this is a successful example of where we saw that how we are using how we are classifying images of clothing using a TensorFlow program which is running on Python, and we are using the platform as Google Colabs. So in the later videos, just keep watching, and I'm learning with you guys. If you're seeing my video right now, thank you for watching, and just remember, I am learning with you. So when I'm giving this thing to you, I'm just revising again and again, and I'm also getting better every time. And so the next time the topic is going to be like we will not try to jump on to more examples very quickly, but we will next we will try to do this basic text classification. You see on the next ML basics with Keras, we will try to do this, and we will learn together, like literally we will learn together. Thank you so much, and if you are watching, just don't forget to subscribe and like it. Thank you.